welcome back to the Engine House. I'm your host, Candy Dancer, and as I have said, I do a lot more than just train stuff. This is an example here. As I said, these were built by my late uncle, and while modifying this a bit to be able to get new, I broke the porch roof off, so I'll be having to fix that. That's part of it. They're very delicate, they're very old. So I'm going to be rewiring these. They were wired for 110 at one time, and then I rewired them for 12 volt. And now that we're living back on the grid, they'll be wired for 110 once again. My uncle was quite the hobby. The man did a lot of, this is all done. He had no training. He just built these and he wired them. And of course, me, stupidly, he wired it as he built it, running the wire in through here and then up. And then, of course, as he built it, I pulled the old wires out, wanting to run smaller wire for 12 volt without thinking. And so I've had to cut the bottom out to be able to get my hands in there and run the wires in as they need to be run. And that's how this got broke. I already started on this one, as you can see. So we'll finish on this one, and I'm sucking on the throat lozenge. The weather around here has been just absolutely crazy, and raining, and therefore it has been hard on my throat. So I've been kind of sucking on the throat lozenge. You can see these are pretty stiff even still. I'm going to thread these on. Interesting tale here while I'm doing this and you guys are watching. Maybe I should probably back this off a bit. Anyway, interesting tale. Like I said, I showed in my last video a picture of my first ship, the USS Yosemite. A little history on the ship. Its keel was laid in 1944, early in the year. It was completed, because this was the war years, it was completed relatively quickly and sent into service. It is a destroyer tender, and for those of you who may not be familiar with destroyer tenders, their job is to supply repairs and equipment and ammunition, as well as if the ship is tied up alongside, we could supply steam. All ships run on steam. We can supply fuel, ammunition, as I said, food, medical services if needed. There was a hospital, basically, not a very large one, but it was still a hospital nonetheless, on board the ship, as well as some dental stuff if needed. So I mean, they were pretty much, that's what it did. They're all long gone. Their job was to get battle damaged ships back into the fight, basically. So they no longer need them. So they're all the tenders, I think, with the exception of one subtender, is gone. And the only reason for the subtender is because they still have a base, or at least they used to, in Scotland. And they needed a tender there for the sub base, because it really isn't a base, it's a supply area. And maybe I should put this down here where I can get at it. This needs to be cut a little bit, as you can see. Anyway, getting back to tenders and stories and my uncle. When I was assigned to that first command, my uncle came to visit me in Florida, and he asked me what ship I was on, and I told him, and he said, back after the war, was over. Now, my uncle fought in World War II. He was a Navy man on a destroyer. He said, after World War II and the surrender of Japan, our destroyer tied up alongside your ship for supplies while we were in Tokyo Bay. Now, my uncle was a bit of a storyteller, and I didn't take it too seriously. He was my favorite uncle after all, but still, I thought maybe he was pulling my leg. It wasn't until many years later that I found out that he was actually correct. The Yosemite, as well as a few other tenders, were stationed in Tokyo Bay after the war to supply the ships there with much needed supplies and whatnot. So part of the reason the Yosemite is down here is, of course, because it was my first ship way back when, and partly because it was one, kind of reminds me of my uncle, as of course do these. When I see these, they remind me of my uncle. He was my favorite uncle, as I've said, and he's gone now many years, and I do enjoy these lamps. He also made a dollhouse that he gave to me and my first wife when we were in Virginia. That dollhouse is, of course, long gone. And there were a few other things he made. I think my mother has a couple still. I think he made a lighthouse and something else. Okay, now you can see that is on there. And one thing I forgot to get was light bulbs, but I'm pretty sure that's going to work. I'm not going to plug it in at the moment. I'm going to work on getting this other one done. So anyway, now since I stupidly, this is very delicate, I will have to scrape off all the old glue here as well as here and re-glue this. I do have the proper glue, so I mean it won't be that hard. I'll just have to be very careful with it. Not too smart on my account, but it happens. Easily fixable, and it won't take me long to fix that. Anyway, okay, I split that one already. Let's see here if I can run this through without too much trouble. Again, like I said, I had to modify these. My uncle did build them up as he ran the wires as he was building it, and of course the stonework. And I stupidly pulled everything out, and that wasn't too smart. So, as you can see, I'm going to take this bracelet off, as well as the watch. This one should be fairly straightforward. I say that, and of course, you may be able to see me okay with what I'm doing, but I cannot see in here. So we're gonna give that a little tug. Get our hand in here. And of course, there it is. I can feel it. So now I can get this up here. It's going to be difficult. Of course it is. I really kicked myself for having taken the old wires out. I really could have continued to use the wires and just switched out the plug ends with something for the 12 volt and plug them in as well as the light bulbs. But I, stupidly thought I wanted a lighter gauge wire, so I pulled that out, and that was my mistake. I should not have done that. And back my hand up a little bit. I've got it in there. I just can't feed it through because I keep pulling it. I keep pulling it back when I move my hand. So bear with me a moment here, and I will get this in. Let's twist these together here. Maybe that will help. And pull through a little more. There we are. And anyway, you can see this is not very easy. Anyway, we are getting settled in. The lovely wife is currently up in her craft room. Her craft room, there we go, her craft room and of course my train room are the only two rooms left that really have to be unpacked. And I, of course, need lumber for framing, and she needs a couple extra cabinets up there, which we'll be picking up here pretty soon. Also, as you can see, these are just, you can see this one, I'll bring it over here. These are just kind of loose in here. I'm going to have to get a little dab of Gorilla Glue after them and set that, get the Gorilla Glue in there and glue those down so they don't move. That shouldn't be too difficult to do. And get this screw backed out here because I want this in there. Let's see, these are set up for, I bought these kits and they're set up for actually for wine bottles, so you can run the wires in here. I would probably have done that, but I really rather run them the way my uncle had them originally. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way. And that way I don't have to worry about them being pulled from the back, or, they'll be, there we go, that one's nice and tight. Screw this all the way up here, and we'll go through here. And, oh, and another thing, you can see here, this is not the card table, this is a nice little desk I picked up. There's a discount furniture place in a nearby town that we discovered, and they really have some discounts. They had this desk, and I got it for a grand total of $99, and that goes for a whole lot more normally. The reason I got it so cheap is, according to the guy that I bought it from there, one of the salesmen, and I've talked to him a few times now since we've lived in the area, all of these desks had an issue with the humidity. When it changed, all of them, the top cracked. Now, you can't even really see the crack in it, but they had discounted them to $399. And he said, because this was the last one they had, he would give it to me, because we have bought quite a bit of furniture from him since we've been here. All of our living room furniture came from there. Our nightstands on either side of the bed came from there. So we had bought quite a bit of furniture. So he said, I will let you have that for $99 because you've been a pretty good customer. So I bought it. It's a little bit bigger of course, I can spread my paints out. You can't see the top of the thing here. It's got a back with a, you know, raised. You can see part of it here. I can put my paints up there. I can do some other things here. I've got a shelf over here. I've got a couple of drawers down here. It came with a chair too. My wife's jealous because she needs a chair for her craft room, and we haven't been able to find a chair, and I got one with this. So for some reason that discount place, whatever reason, does not have just regular chairs. Don't know why. And there we have it, all fixed. I will turn these to where it's easier for us to turn the light on and off, and I will glue these down with a little Gorilla Glue. I don't have any of it handy right now. It's packed away still. I'm going to have to find it. But anyway, that is pretty much all for today. That's the lights that I wanted to fix. And a little story I wanted to tell. And of course, the dollhouse that I call it a dollhouse, the house that my mother was sent from Germany, is sitting behind me on the tote it was packed in. I moved it there, and it will come back over here to the card table. It'll be here where I can work on it as I get a chance. And of course, I'll be spreading out more here. You'll be seeing stuff here that needs to be worked on, and as I get set up. And this is one thing fixed, and of course now I have to fix this as well. Again, not a big deal. I have the glue. I have to find it. I will glue it. I will fix it. It'll be fine. But these are ready to go. I have the light bulbs upstairs. We have new shades for them. These will be beside our bed tonight on our brand new nightstands. And that is one little project finished. One more done for us. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and the little history tale that went with it. I miss my uncle. He's been gone a long time now. But I do have memories of him here. And of course, when I look at the picture of the Yosemite. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. And bye for now.